CM Punk.
Remember that he has been a historically overperforming yet bad employee. So
the ones where he was completely anti-authority.
then he has been fired, and he's been fired from multiple promotions, multiple places by multiple people.
Yeah.
Because Triple H usually does what's best for business.
So Manchester United, they lost.
It wasn't even close, okay? Like,
He was attempting passes that no centre back in their right mind would dare to. And Bruno Guimaraes, man, what a player! You remember your old ginger man, Paul Scholes. Definitely, I give credit to both. And Hardik Pandya is not sitting well with a lot of Mumbai insiders, and that Bumrah is highly disheartened with Hardik Pandya's return.
Being the best player in the team, sometimes you have to live with the fact that you cannot become the captain. Captaincy is well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sue Weekly. This is edition number I don't remember. So we will definitely cover your favorite sports, the Premier League, all the happenings in cricket, especially after a very hectic World Cup that we had, and some more other happenings from the world of pro wrestling as well. So why don't we start with pro wrestling? CM Punk. That's the name that's been ringing all across in the wrestling world for the last 1 month or more, and we need to really understand what's going on in that space and what will happen in future as well. So I think it was expected. Many were teasing it before as well. Many of the stars on socials elsewhere, they have been talking about CM Punk returning to WWE. But finally, it came true. And news is that no one actually knew that he was actually coming back. It was kept top secret by the management of WWE and by Triple H himself. Even the producers did not know. Apparently, that's what we hear. None of the roster members knew it was coming. And I think some of them knew, which is also evident from the fact that some of them actually reacted in various ways during the entry of CM Punk. What an amazing moment for wrestling fans and CM Punk fans all over. Dave, your first thoughts?
It's unfortunate that our resident Punkamaniac is not here to weigh in on this. I'm pretty sure he was shouting his head off watching that return. And to be fair, he was proven right. Like, we have had this conversation for a while in the group where he has been insisting that CM Punk is coming back on Survivor Series in Chicago, and I have been saying he's daydreaming his way out of his mind and everything. But he was right. Punk did come back, and from reports we have been seeing, uh, Punk's return was decided somewhere like 10 days the Survivor Series were before the Survivor Series premium live event, and I think the decision to hire CM Punk was in a way conditioned by the signing of Edge or Adam Copeland to AEW, a wily veteran jumping ship, joining the rival promotion to work with youngsters. It sort of, I feel, forced WWE's hand that they needed to find an answer to such a move, and the move, they could not have come up with a bigger move than going for CM Punk. And it will be interesting to see the next few weeks and months as to what CM Punk is planning to do, what is his agenda. He had a promo on Raw. It was okay. It wasn't. I expected more
And not the kind
fire,
that
more
people
vitriol.
expect of CM Punk. Yeah.
Yes. VS, if you remember his peak 2011 promos, right? Like
Yeah.
the ones where he was completely anti-authority. The This promo wasn't like that. It was more.
Dave, I do think very much that that's where the current WWE management will find it tough to fit in him, because CM Punk has historically been somebody who goes off the script, but it looks very much like it is in the script, and he has constantly broken the fourth wall that exists between WWE, the management, and the fans. Because back in 2011-12, he was constantly talking about how the authority in WWE, how Triple H, Vince McMahon, how they were. How they had clear favorites, and how that helped them achieve the success that they did. He was indirectly, in a way, saying how WWE is scripted, all the while making it look very authentic and real. So this is a guy who is full of irony. He talks to the people about this being a biased sport, and now we have to keep in mind this is actually a scripted sport. But then he has a problem with the script without acknowledging that a script actually exists. So it's a very fine balance that he was working, and I
I
don't
know
think
punk
has ever done
maniacs.
it better than him.
I know punk maniacs may hate me for saying this, but I think the other side of the fence also found him to be a misfit when he entered
Yeah,
UFC. So
Yeah,
there, people till date, I think Dana White and others feel that CM Punk is probably made for the mic and not for
not
the
for the
octagon. Yeah,
actual fight. Yeah, but
yeah,
then
yeah,
again, in a sport like WWE, that demands the stars or the wrestlers to have the persona, to have the ability to keep audience engaged and to fuel the
absolutely,
emotions. We've rarely seen somebody stir up a crowd as much as Punk has, both as a
yeah,
face and as a
absolutely.
heel. And if you remember, he always had this knack of not just calling out the authority. He also had this way of getting on the fans' nerves, like nobody
Yeah,
ever really has. So he's a character who can play both, who can play the anti-hero by siding with the fans and going against the authority, and at the same time he's going to be somebody who is going to have that absolutely villainous aura when he goes against the fan. When he went out there in front of a 90,000 large crowd and said everybody, after pointing to each section of the crowd, that I'm the champion not because of you, not because of you, not because of you, and the
yeah,
champion in spite of you. So that kind of shit that he comes up with, WWE is going to have a huge, huge, huge weapon in their arsenal if, according to what Deva said, if they are going against AEW. But at the same time, you also have to remember that he has been a historically overperforming yet bad employee. So he was never really
yeah,
a fan
yeah,
favorite of any of the promotions that he's worked under. No bosses really like him, and nobody really favors working with him. I mean, working with him is a different thing, but then I'm pretty sure nobody in any of the promotions want to be his manager, the guy in charge,
yeah,
to be responsible of him. So he's an employee who's a fan favorite. He's where he is not because like in his own words, he doesn't kiss ass. he
yeah.
it's
yeah,
because of the sheer fan popularity that he's where he is. But then he has been fired, and he's been fired from multiple promotions, multiple places, by multiple people.
yeah,
They just can't keep him out because he's too good.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
So,
one of those high maintenance, prima donnas that we see in
Yeah,
any sport, and I think
okay,
the only hope that WWE universe or fans have is that Triple H behaves different or probably knows how to handle such characters, because Triple H usually does what's best for business, and I think everyone's aware of what they are actually signing up for when you go for CM Punk or someone like CM Punk.
I think we will need like an entire
Yeah,
full 30 to 45-minute video to psychoanalyze in a way this return of CM Punk and like the consequences it might have on a wider WWE landscape. As to coming back to your original point, Khandalf, about some of the reactions right after CM Punk debuted, because he, in a way, sort of upstaged what was going on in the ring. I would say, like, War
yeah.
Games had just finished, and people are celebrating, and Orton had just come back, made his big return after
Yeah, I
18
think he
months,
totally
and here comes CM Punk.
overshadowed Randy Orton's return. Although
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
be honest,
definitely.
I actually liked Randy Orton's return as well. It was not bad.
Hmm.
It came at the right moment. It was timed perfectly when I think Damien Priest was about to cash in on the Money in the
Yeah,
Bank contract. So I think it was
it
like
sort of,
expected, but it was still fun to watch Randy
yeah,
Orton coming back.
and considering that sort of upstagement which happened right at the end of the show, the reaction of Seth Rollins after the incident was very
It was
vocal.
all
He
off
really
camera.
did
Yep.
not like. He went. He apparently he went to the gorilla position and still was ranting. So now we have to see if it is a actual reaction or if they're building an angle between Seth Rollins and CM Punk
Yeah. No, I
for
hope
their
it's just
possible
work
WrestleMania match.
and yeah, I
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just work and character work that they are building on.
Because it will be a
Because
fantastic match. First of
yeah,
all, like the Seth Rollins versus CM Punk program in this day and age is likely a potential main event of one of the nights of WrestleMania. I think night
yeah,
one can be given to CM Punk versus Rollins if it happens. There's a
yeah,
possibility it might not happen, but considering that
absolutely.
Orton has signed for SmackDown, I think CM Punk will be at Raw as well, and that would mean that they will have a fight at some point of time, Seth Rollins and CM
Yeah,
Punk for
yeah.
the heavyweight title.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think a lot of exciting things that possibly can just spin off from just one person coming into the whole picture, right? And it also remains to be seen how WWE will be handling others like Roman Reigns. Where does he go after the bloodline, and how is that going to come up? So, what's the thing with Solo and Jimmy Uso? Are they just going to be sidekicks? I know they are trying to project Solo as the next big thing, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. He's pretty good, but as long as he doesn't get knocked on the mic. So,
to
uh,
all our
and-
to all our
yeah,
30
and
40 viewers, subscribers who are there, let me assure you, we are going to work on a proper CM Punk video, and we'll release a CU special about, specifically about CM Punk. We'll try to cover some of his
yeah,
AEW run, what's leading up to this WWE return, and its possible potential consequences. And just for
absolutely.
the fact that, like, we discussed this before coming on stream, that we will talk about CM Punk and we'll finish it in 5 minutes, and we have been talking for 10 minutes. That's just shows, and that just
And
shows
and
what one
this
person's
is
return.
this is without the CM Punk resident CM Punk
Yeah,
fan,
yeah, yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
If he was
And
there, we would be
we
probably talking for 30 minutes, even without a special. So we will
and
definitely
this
come
sort
out
of
with this. Yeah,
and this sort of thing just shows the sort of seismic change which has happened across pro wrestling landscape in the past 1 week, where CM Punk has returned. Just a return of one man has caused this much of noise, so to speak, and it's sort of wonderful to see, actually. Like, people, a guy, just one guy coming back after 10 years and still creating this much of an impact. It's, if you are a CM Punk fan or CM Punk himself, you are pretty happy at this moment, I would say.
absolutely. Okay, then that's that. We will come back with a special soon on CM Punk, but before that, we will address BS here. What do we have from football?
What we have from football is a lot of contrasting fortunes at different places. So I'll just touch upon the four key results in Premier League that highlight where the storyline is being headed. And I'm talking storylines just because we moved on from WWE. So the first major result of the weekend was
Hope you
between.
don't speak for the next 2 hours. Yes, we are definitely looking at a quick
I'll,
highlight,
I'm
as
looking
you
at
meant.
I'm looking at a minimum of 3 minutes because I'm going to be talking about a club that I love to hate. So it does give me a tiny tinge of happiness that they are suffering such misfortunes. Although I have no hatred for the fans, I will not deny it. So Manchester United, they lost 1-0 against Newcastle United. And that scoreline sounds very normal. Okay, and Kandalf is here. So Kandalf, it was not just a 1-0 loss. United, they got thoroughly outplayed and they absolutely had no answers to what Newcastle were throwing at them for over 80 minutes. You also have to keep in mind that this is a Newcastle team that has had injury crisis across the pitch. They did not want to make a substitution even after 80 minutes because they did not have one. They do not have a player who can go out there and replace one player in the playing 11. And they lost to a United who almost spent a billion in transfers over the last. It seems kind of ironic. I have Chelsea in the background and I'm talking about clubs that spend billions. But then at the end of the day, it was extremely one-sided. Dev, I remember you saw the match against Newcastle.
Yeah,
Newcastle
yeah,
countered
and it
the
was,
hell out of them.
it wasn't even close. Okay, like,
No,
the XG stats can show it very clearly. Newcastle had
it
like
was
3
domination.
point something, and
Yep.
United had 0.0 something, which is
Yes.
like, they could have scored five yesterday. They could have
Easily,
scored
easily,
six
easily they could
easily,
have
easily.
scored
And
five.
this is
And the
what,
player who's
if you
usually
remember,
valiant the most. Yeah, man,
VS, if
continue.
you remember last season, when they got dumped out by Liverpool, and Liverpool scored 7 goals, the XG were somewhat similar. And Liverpool
Yep.
registering an XG of 3 point something, and United registering an XG of 0.4. So if Newcastle could actually finish their chances, they could have scored 7. And just the sheer disparity there, that no one looked like they wanted to play. None of the United players, apart from surprisingly Harry Maguire, who
Yeah.
has been last 2 3 weeks, every time I've seen United, like you had
He is
also
actually their
mentioned
best
in the group,
player.
yeah, he is their best player, which is just a
And
shocking
that
thing to
that
say
speaks
at this point.
something. I think for a United fan, what's more concerning would be not the fact that United lost. it's how they lost. So they were
Yeah.
simply not able to recover balls. If you saw Fabian Schär and Jamal Lascelles, Schär especially, even before the Newcastle takeover, has been a defender that I rated highly. He was too good for
Same.
playing in the Newcastle team that was fighting relegation, and now he's in a team that fits his skill set. And Schär was making audacious passes. He was attempting passes that no centre back in their right minds would dare to,
Yes,
just
one
because of
second.
how
Sher
effectively
was making runs through the midfield and
through the
trying to
midfield, through the
shoot from
midfield.
from
Exactly.
distance. It was
Yeah.
insane. How are you allowing a centre back to just waltz past
No,
five
no, no, no,
defenders? It
no.
is,
I don't think United were allowing the centre back to do it. I think the centre back was doing it because of the confidence he had in the
yeah,
ability
yeah,
of
yeah,
players like Joy Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. Man, what a player!
yeah, yeah.
These guys are outpressing United. So Share plays an adventurous pass. If it reaches his teammate, well and good. That's a good attack that you just spun. In case it doesn't reach his teammate, in case some United player were to intercept it, or his player or Newcastle player takes a bad touch, every single time there was a loose ball, and every single time, obviously, is me overstating it, but most of the times, every time there was a loose ball in the midfield or on the attacking third of Newcastle's pitch, it was always and always Newcastle
Yeah.
who ended up with the ball in like 2-3 duels. United were simply outclassed in terms of individual duels, and one main factor was the midfield of Guimaraes and Joy Linton. They thoroughly dominated United. And that is a case for huge concern because Eric Ten Hag, he's been there, you have to remember, for an year. He's not going to be able to put the blame on Glazers this time around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And most of these transfers are his transfers. That is
Most of the
also
transfers are his transfer.
very,
He
very
wanted
important.
Onana, he got Onana. He wanted 100 million Anthony, who is currently being called a fidget spinner. And see, that's obviously fans being rude and going over the top. But then, if you look at his output, it's really pathetic. And you also have to remember, we discussed this somewhere before as well. United do not have a midfielder who controls the tempo, so they don't have a classical
Also,
eight.
yeah,
See, yeah,
also, why
I
exactly is Martial starting over Hoyland? Isn't that that their
No,
big
no.
striker signing?
See, that's
Why is
a
Martial
funny question,
starting
Deva.
in big 2023?
It's a very funny question
I
because
stopped
Martial always,
watching I
yeah.
stopped watching
Sorry,
football
Khandal.
like a few years back, and one of the last names I remember from that time is Harry Maguire, and I'm surprised that if he's the best player that you
He
speak of
is.
in the
He is.
United
He has been.
lineup, then
That is a state of affairs. I'm telling you, it's
I will
absolutely.
stand by United, but I'm
It's
not proud of
it's
it.
very strange, Khandal. I'm not kidding.
I
They
wouldn't
bought this
call
striker
standing on
for
a
80
sinking ship
million. Okay.
admirable.
Has he changed
Also,
positions or is he still centre back? Yeah.
He is still a centre
Maguire
back. I
is
don't
still
think he
centre
has
back.
what it takes to change positions because that's not easy. But then again, it's a team full of holes, and it was the counter press. So every time Newcastle were losing the ball, they were getting it back in under like 2-3 duels, and United were simply outclassed after buying Casemiro, after having. And I think the main problem lies in the fact that they do not have a player who gets the ball, takes a breath, identifies the passes around him, identifies the calm, composed option, and plays a basic pass so that the rest of the team, especially in the defensive half of the midfield, can come together, hold the positions, and then start building. United these days, especially United midfield, when they get the ball, they are extremely vertical. And vertical, as in, I do not blame, first of all, I know, Deba, you're not a fan of Bruno Fernandes, but that is Fernandez's natural game. That's what
Yeah.
he's there. That's what he's expected to do. He's that player who has that insane threaded pass on him, who creates the attack. So him playing that vertical ball the first time he gets it when players are running, trying to get back to their positions is not a cause of concern. But what else does he have behind him? Who else does he have trying to support? They need a number 8. They need Khandalf. I'm telling you, you remember your old ginger man, Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
I dare say they can bring this 67-year-old Paul Scholes back from retirement, put him in the United midfield right now, and he would probably, despite all the other things leveled against him, he would probably improve that team because that's how much they
Can
need a player of that profile.
Yeah.
can we take 2 minutes to answer the question which I raised? Why is a 80 million striker Hoyland sitting on the bench
Yeah.
instead
So
of Anthony
see, that
Martial,
has to have an
who
off the
was playing
football
for Sevilla
explanation.
last season and he did
Yeah.
not really play well
Man,
there either?
yeah.
What is
Anthony,
happening?
Anthony Martial itself is a very confusing case. I never understood why he is there in United. I don't mean to say that he's completely useless. He never is a certified starter. He's been there for a long time. He's been there since
Yeah.
all the hairs in my head was entirely black. He was there back then. He's still there. He's still not a starter. He's still not a reliable goal scorer. But then every single season, and trust me, man, every season he has this phase of like 3-4 matches where he comes, especially during the winter, wears the black gloves and scores a few winners, occasional goals. And there will be this one match every season where he is Thierry fucking Henry,
Yeah.
absolute lord. But then again, he goes back to not being useful at all, and they still keep him around. So Anthony Martial is a conundrum that I very honestly do not understand, and I'm pretty sure a lot of United fans would not have a very reasonable answer for that either. So I say that you stop asking tricky, hard questions and ask me easy questions about the match in Newcastle, which
I
we
think I
actually
think
watched.
that was my second surprise. VS that I was while you were talking about Martial, I was like, okay, this must be someone else. And then I was like, okay, is this guy still playing for United?
He
Yeah.
is,
He
and
is.
you
He
wonder
is.
why.
He is the
Like,
original wonder kid who has somehow managed to stick around for so long. United
yeah.
itself is a paradox. So we'll move on to another paradox which happened just a few minutes ago, the City versus Spurs game.
What a
And
game, man! What a
that
game!
game, A,
What
it
a
was a
game!
fantastic game. It
Football,
was a
bloody
fantastic
hell!
game. B, it was a disgrace. The way it ended, I am no City fan. I hate City because of their oil club status. But the way it ended pissed me off, and it would piss anyone off, anyone playing for or supporting City, that is, because this is what happened, Khandal. So essentially, uh, it is the 94th or 95th minute. The score lines are 3-3.
3-3.
There's a break on. There's a break on. Haaland receives the ball, and Haaland gets fouled, but he does
Yeah,
not go to the ground. So the referee does not call the foul. He lets the play go on. Haaland threads this beautiful eye of the needle pass straight at the feet of an
Grealish.
on-rushing Jack Grealish, who was onside. He was going through one-on-one, just as he was about to make that run. The referee blows his whistle, calling back for the foul which Haaland had received,
Terrible call,
and this
like
happened in the
terrible call.
95th minute. And had that
Yes.
happened, even if it wouldn't have been a goal, had Grealish been pulled back, that would have been a red card, or
Yeah.
that would have been a goal.
Yeah,
Which
and
the
especially a
Yeah,
match that was so hard fought, that was so closely contested. So Tottenham, we also have to mention Tottenham's. It's highly admirable what Ange Postecoglou is doing there.
yeah,
They don't. He doesn't have the players. It's a team riddled with injuries, and I mean, no disrespect when I say that the Tottenham squad is clearly inferior to the richness in terms of talent and depth that City has. But he does not seem to care. He went toe to toe with City. He did not ask Tottenham to defend and just hit them on the counter. He took blows and he
yeah.
gave blows. So
And
it was like a boxing match where both of the boxers are egomaniacs and they just want to put the other on the mat,
yeah,
not really caring about the referee's scorecards. But then,
and
as
what I
Deva
loved
correctly
about
mentioned, the refereeing was a disgrace.
yeah,
I think for
what
such
I
a
I would love
loved
to
closely
about
quote DJ
contested
Drogba, but I don't
game,
want to make our product R-rated.
sorry, Khandal.
no,
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
saying that
Khandal.
for such
Go
a
ahead.
closely contested game to be decided by an outrageous call,
Yeah.
that's
Now
such a
what?
shame. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shame. And just coming back to your point, VS, something which I loved about the way Tottenham played, because they got outplayed in the first half, right? Like
Yeah,
2-1 was a
certainly did.
generous score for them.
Yes,
2-1 was a generous score for
agreed.
them. They could have panicked. They could have started hoofing balls forward. No, but they passed.
They did not.
They
They
kept
did
their
not.
calm. They did
Absolutely, yes.
not panic at all. They played their natural game the way that they have been coached, the way they have been
Yes,
instructed. Everyone following that plan. Everyone doing what the coach had asked to do. No one panicking in the moment. Ki, oh shit, we are behind at Etihad. We might lose the game. They did it twice actually. Like they went behind twice. They came back twice to
yes.
equalize the game, and that takes some mental fortitude. That takes
Absolutely,
some
yes.
calmness on the field, and even
Yes.
the substitutions.
Yeah, for a team
Even
that
the
has
substitutions
won
made
as many
sense.
Premier Leagues and as many big trophies as any of us sitting right here, they seem to have some unjustified trust in the methods of the coach, and that seems to be
Yeah,
working fair. Just to call back, that is something that I haven't seen yet from the Manchester Reds. And now moving on from
yeah,
Manchester Reds and Manchester Blues, I am here sitting with my goggles with a Chelsea background over there, not because we have won the Champions League again or we are anywhere near contesting for it. But what I saw today was something, and this a lot of people might blame me for celebrating something trivial, but trivial is to the casual onlooker. For a fan like me, a team that has lagged spine, we are as I sometimes I come from Kerala, I'm from Kottayam. So Kottayam is the biggest rubber exporter in Kerala and has been for a lot of time in India. That is exactly what Chelsea's backbone has been made of for the past 3-4 years that I've been watching football. It's been made of rubber. But today, what I saw was a team that fought its way back. So we had a two-goal advantage, one-goal advantage actually. We were leading 2-1 against Brighton, and we got a red card. Conor Gallagher, I admire what he has done this season, but he stupidly got a second yellow card and was sent off. And I expected a catastrophe. I expected a collapse because Brighton under Roberto De Zerbi has been playing attacking football, and with a one-man advantage, they would have bombed us, and I would have very justifiably expected us to completely capitulate. But
Capitulate.
he somehow held on, and we won the match 3-2. And that I finally saw some steel from the team, and which is very heartening for me because this is not exactly a team yet. It is still a group of individuals
Yeah.
who've been brought together day before yesterday and has been asked to work together. So seeing that from this team gives me hope, and it also gives me hope about the manager who I was initially a little bit not over the top when we signed Pochettino, but I can see that he's done some good work. And they've obviously, my opinion will come from a very favorable blue lens. So you can look at it with your clear lens and say what you
Yeah,
see.
I don't like Pochettino, but beyond that, I see. I did not watch today's game, Chelsea game, because of some other commitment. But I have a question regarding the game. Was it more of a credit to post ball, or was it a severe indictment on De Zerbi ball? Because
The
considering the fact
former, the
that
former,
Chelsea
certainly the former.
more of a
Roberto Di
credit to
Serbi,
postball, because here's my question, right? Like, because Deserby has a good team on him. Yeah, his team is also going through some injury issues, but losing to a 10-man Chelsea does not sound great on his
it does
resume,
not
does it?
sound well, but then you also have to put in the recent results into context. This Chelsea team, it beat Tottenham 4-1 despite having some favorable calls, I agree. But then it also had a closely contested contest with Manchester fucking City that could have very well gone our way. So the Chelsea team of recently, they have this kind of Liverpool tendency when Klopp actually took over in his first season, where they were not getting anywhere on the table, but they were able to go up against the big boys and put up a performance.
Hmm.
So Brighton, I'm giving them credits where it is due. So they are a good team. They're a very well coached team. But the Chelsea team of now, our real struggle has been when we have been playing against deep blocks and comparatively lower ranked teams. So against a team like Brighton, you also have to remember that we did not have any of our natural fullbacks. So Reece
Hmm.
James, he definitely stupidly got red carded the previous match. Out. Malo
Yes.
Gusto out. Chilwell has been in the hospital longer than your average great grandfather at the age of 95. He lives there. He hasn't been available either, and Cucurella is not either. So we went with the four-man defense where our fullbacks were Levi Colville and Axel Disasi, who is a colossus. He does not look like a right back at all. So to play that team against Brighton with one man down and get a result, definitely I give credits to Poch and also at the same time the players for once, especially Enzo. And I can also finally see Caicedo kind of stepping up. He has not really delivered to the levels that we were expecting of him after he moved, but I can see certain things coming together. I'm not entirely hopeful, but I'm optimistic. Yes, I am definitely optimistic.
A lot of good results in PL and good results for India as well. India wins the series. Today was the final game of the T20 tournament, T20 bilateral series, which
What
India and Australia
what a
had.
way to avenge the World Cup defeat than win a
Yeah.
KPL series.
Yeah, see, when this series was declared, I was very sure India was going to win because India does not lose bilateral series, does it? Bilaterals, we are the kings of bilateral series. We are amazing in them. We never lose
No,
bilateral
absolutely. I
series.
think the whole point of this series was probably to audition for the World Cup next year. I think both teams perhaps took it that way, and they were just clearly trying out players. If you look at both teams, of course,
Yeah.
India's B, C sides have always been better than most countries, and to be honest, Australia's second string or third string or whatever you may want to call it have historically not been that great. Most Australian players mature; they're late bloomers. They slightly mature towards the post 25 age group, or when they're
Mhm.
27, 28 is when they start priming in terms of their playing ability. Most of the players get selected based on their Sheffield performance after that age. Uh, and they really have a good go in the national side from ages 29 to 34, 35. That's when Australian teams, when all of these factors come together in the universe, that's when Australian teams peak. So yeah, so I think I wouldn't judge this team altogether based on a 1-4 defeat in a bilateral series. Of course, most of them are experienced in the BBL and don't have much of exposure to India, so that's probably a learning curve for them as well. I'm slowly starting to sound like the losing captain of a team, but yeah, but
It's
congratulations
okay. It's
to
okay. Australians have been winning a lot of late. You have been sounding like
yeah.
the winning captain a
No, but
lot,
I
so
think
it's
I
fine if
must
you
call
sound
out. I was really impressed with a few youngsters like Mukesh Kumar, for example, and
yes.
he's really nailing all those Yorkers perfectly, ball after ball. If you ask him to
It's
bowl a Yorker on demand, he can do it.
it's strange because Mukesh Kumar, the name Mukesh Kumar was sort of unfancied, like he just came out of nowhere. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure more knowledgeable fans will have more in-depth analysis as to where
absolutely.
Mukesh Kumar came from, but I don't remember seeing him that prominently in IPL either. And he just comes in and starts delivering, which is really good. From an Indian perspective,
Absolutely.
having that sort of bowler is very important. There were other encouraging signs as well. I think Ishan Kishan had a good series. Tilak Verma
I
had a
think
good
the other
series.
standout was
The
Rinku Singh. That's
Rinku Singh, yeah.
yeah.
How can we forget Rinku Singh? Rinku
Is he
Singh
the
was
next
amazing.
MSD? Is he the next MS Dhoni? Is the question.
Calm,
Yeah,
calm,
it's
Khandalf, calm, calm. You cannot throw around names like MSD with somebody who just came in yesterday and swatted some mosquitoes. Come on,
the guy
calm.
has a strike rate of over 200, by the way,
Yeah,
in all
definitely.
international matches. But yeah, so far his finishing abilities are encouraging, to say the
Yeah.
least.
And I think
Also, the
It's
bravery.
I was
down
just
the
He does
ground.
not
watching.
like going out there and taking a risk. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going there and trying to slog it and make the quick runs. And it's a risky
Yeah,
maneuver because if it doesn't come off a couple of consecutive
Yeah,
failures, and we know how ruthless BCCI can be with players who are
yeah,
not delivering for except certain cases like Suresh Raina and such. They are very ruthless, but then he has the
yeah,
audacity to go out there and do what he has been doing in IPL. It's the same thing. He's there, he's taking the risk, and he's making it count. So I do
yeah.
respect the
yeah.
players' bravery and the attitude. But come on, Khandalf. No MSD
Absolutely,
comparisons, please.
but no, no, I'm not hyping Rinku Singh up. But the point is that it really is appreciable that players make use of the opportunity that they are given, whether it's the IPL or it's
Yeah.
some bilateral series like this. I think you get one chance in a country full of so much cricket and so much cricketing talent. It's really
Hmm.
tough to make it to that top 11, regardless of whether it's an irrelevant series like this or whether it's a Border Gavaskar Trophy or whatever it is.
So
It's
are you
still
calling Khandalf, are you calling this very important PTM or a bilateral series irrelevant?
I'm calling it irrelevant just for one reason. They started this series 3, 4 days after the World Cup ended. And for that reason alone, this is an irrelevant series because they knew very clearly that none of the senior players would be playing, none of the 2020 marquee players in both India and Australia would be playing. They had probably a couple of names. They probably paid, Glenn Maxwell and Travis Head, and maybe to an extent Shreyas Iyer and others, a few free complimentary breakfast, lunches, and dinners in all the hotels, so that they stay back and play the series and then go back home after 2 or 3
Uh,
matches. Because none of the other cricketers, in their sane mind, will agree for a 5 match 2020 series right after a grueling World Cup where both teams qualify for the finals.
Yep.
It's fatigue not just
yeah.
for the players but for also the crowd. I was also honestly
Yeah,
very surprised by
it's
a full
fatigue
packed
for the
stadium.
viewers actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I was
fatigue for
actually
the
surprised.
viewers, I suppose.
Yeah,
It's basically
yeah,
So
just a
much cricket.
glorified youth enrichment drive at this point. Both the teams are testing out okay whom they can count on, and
yeah,
Paytm needs some advertisement money. They have competition now. When demonetization happened, it was only Paytm. Right now they have Bharat Pay, they have Phone Pay, there are 20 other UPI
Google Pay.
services. They need the advertisements, man. Let it be. Stop
Yeah,
complaining.
yeah, fair enough. uh,
No, but I think,
and
yeah, I think they're just probably killing cricket this way. I'm sure they had viewership straight from the stadiums. I saw packed houses because it was probably tier two towns and the
Yeah.
interiors of India, some of them which hosted these matches, except for the last match, I think, which was in Bangalore, incidentally,
yeah,
which was also a packed house. I think these are the folks who did not get tickets for the World Cup, or maybe paid too much for the World Cup and are just trying to now pay for the revenge match against Australia as well. So, anyway,
Yeah,
so I think that said, we'll move on quickly to what really mattered in the last week, which was the IPL trade, and this is probably the last
yeah.
topic of discussion during this set.
This is what is interesting, right? Like the paradigm of cricket shifting. Like we are considering an international series not that important, but IPL
Yeah,
to be the most
certainly,
important thing that is
certainly.
happening.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
a
not even funny.
proper paradigm
It's
shift
a hard truth.
in yeah, it's the paradigm shift not just in our mind, it's the paradigm shift in BCCI's mind and in the mind of viewers as well.
And
Because
players as
an
well. I think
IPL's
players, some of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
players as well.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of
That's why
players, I think
respect.
a
That's why
big
full respect to players like Joe Root and all, right? Like they know their priorities. They have opted out long back. They don't want this shit of IPL. They are like, oh
No, I
yeah,
think speaking
England
of
first
players who
priority
have
done.
shunned players, speaking of players who have shunned the IPL for other priorities like Test cricket and other forms of cricket in their own countries. Let's speak of Mitch Stark. He has withdrawn from the IPL multiple times in the past and always prioritized preparation for the Ashes or preparation for the home summer of cricket or whatever it is. He's back in the reckoning this time around for IPL 2024 at a base price of 2 crore. Who needs
Lot
Mitch
of big
Stark the
names, sir.
most? Which team do you think needs Mitchell Stark the most at this point in time?
I think the teams that
Tough. I
really
would
need to
take him in.
bolster their pace bowling department includes my favorite Chennai Super Kings certainly can do with a left-arm pacer who can bowl like Mitchell Stark, and it should not be. And Chennai are a team that have historically not bought players just because they are getting old or age. Chennai does believe in experience, and I see every chance that Mitchell Stark will be donning a very familiar yellow in IPL as well.
I would take him in Rajasthan. Why not? But that's the thing. A lot of big name players are actually up for auction. If you released, surprisingly, the entire bowling lineup of RCB got released here in Hazelwood, Hasaranga, all of them released. Then you have this very interesting transfer happening between Gujarat, Mumbai, and RCB, where uh, Mumbai shifted Cam Green to RCB in order to make the salary space for bringing back Hardik Pandya
The
from
prodigious
Gujarat
son, the
Titans.
future captain, bigger brand. He's
Yeah,
got everything.
yeah, coming back,
Yep.
filling up
I,
that all-rounder position which Cam Green left.
I
So
feel that was actually
who is the winner
it.
in this entire transaction? I would ask.
I feel that, personally, I feel, I could be a biased RCB fan, but I feel RCB, of course,
You're always biased. What do you mean by
yeah,
could
Hardik
be?
Pandya coming back to Mumbai, it's known. It's the return of the prodigal son. So
Yes.
it's definitely going to help Mumbai. Hardik Pandya is probably the man they will be looking for. People like Kyron Pollard and others did not really serve well in the last few years in the lower order while trying to finish. I think they are all past their prime. So what they're looking for is someone strong in the lower middle order to and also if Hardik can bowl, nothing like it. But I think if someone wanted a a batting all rounder, it was probably RCB. I know they already have Glenn Maxwell. They had a bowling all rounder in Hasranga, but with Cameron Green, you get the best of both worlds. He's not just another bowler like Glenn Maxwell is. Glenn Maxwell can probably easily bowl 4 overs, get away with probably 30 runs odd. Sometimes he can get lucky with 2 or 3 wickets as well. But Cameron Green gives you the flexibility to move up and down the order. If you want to push Virat Kohli to a number 3 position, then you can probably open with Cameron Green and Faf du Plessis. So it gives you that flexibility. Or if you want in some matches where you want Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis to open, then you can push Cam Green all the way to number 5 or 6, and so that they can finish off with Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green. Role very similar to how Tim David and Cameron Green were playing when they were playing for Mumbai Indians. So I think it gives them a lot of options with someone like Cameron Green. He's a great talent, no doubt, but he's a generational talent, so he will definitely fit in most of these teams. Of course, he has a lot to prove in the Test team yet, but we'll wait for that to happen. The
Adolf,
second
there
big
is something that Cameroon Green lacks or lacked at Mumbai Indians, which Hardik Pandya might be bringing into the team. And we've looked at about the team structures and what strengths they bring in, but I think it's also equally important to look up at the gossip columns. So it has been reported in a lot of places that Cameron Green getting replaced with Hardik Pandya is not sitting well with a lot of Mumbai insiders and aspirational future captains. And one key player to name is Jasprit Bumrah. So there were reports across the gossip columns and in a lot of social media pages that Bumrah is highly disheartened with Hardik Pandya's return, not because Hardik is any lesser of a player, but because Bumrah fancies himself as the future captain of Mumbai Indians. And Hardik Pandya, somebody like Hardik Pandya joining the team, who actually came through Mumbai Indians, has already struck a chord with the fans, has already won an IPL, and has already captained the national team side, is apparently not sitting well with Bumrah. So how do you see that?
Yeah.
And in a
I think it's
hypothetical
pretty
world, if you were to
silly to
choose between
be.
Hardik or Bumrah for
See,
a T20
if I
team,
can
who would you go for? Not as
if I
captain, as a
can
player.
take this take give a little bit of more background, it's actually a very interesting situation because Bumrah, from what the reports have said, Bumrah sees himself as someone who is a Mumbai Indians lifer. He did not jump ship to Gujarat. He
Yeah.
was in Mumbai. He has stayed in Mumbai. He has done the hard yards, and still he is going to be overlooked as captain by
He just
Hardik
needs a
Pandya. And I
loyalty
don't
bonus.
think, yeah, and
He
I
just
don't
needs a
think
loyalty bonus,
players like,
man.
yeah, and I don't think even players like Surya Kumar Yadav would be way too ecstatic about Hardik Pandya coming back, because Surya Kumar Yadav was also a potential captain, I would say, for Mumbai after Rohit's after if when Rohit Sharma eventually leaves or retires from IPL. So it's a very interesting situation. Khandal, can you please weigh in on this?
Yeah, see, the point is that I'm not a big fan of fight for captaincy, and especially in a league which is rich with players, both domestically and also international players coming in. You have to work together. There will be five captains in the team. You will probably
Yeah.
have an MSD, a Shane Watson, Faf du Plessis, everyone playing together. All of these are captains in their own right, but then they
But there
work
has to
together.
be
They
that
learn
binding glue. There has to be that technical hierarchy so that things can and
exactly,
decision making can flow in a particular order. So the
exactly.
designated person who makes the final call after hearing the views of the separate leaders in their particular places has to be only one. And Hardik Pandya does have some credential to his name, and we don't yet know if or how good Bumrah actually is. So if
Yeah.
you were Bumrah, say, let's say Khandal, if you are the key bowler, you are the one who chalks out opposition in the death by bowling those yorkers. Your team relies on you, and you have grown there, you have developed there, and you have earned your caps on the international stage via the team. And you have been apparently promised a certain sport or a certain level of leadership power in your team. And then suddenly somebody who was there but jumps ships is being bought back at a very hefty space, and he is challenging for your place. So you also have to understand that these players are also people, and it's not wrong to foster
Yeah.
individual ambitions. So
No,
would you pick
See,
absolutely. I
Hardik?
see,
mean, it's
a
fine. See,
situation
look
might
at me.
actually
I'll just
happen.
take
So Gandalf.
I'll just take
Khandal.
1 minute to answer this, or probably a little more. But the thing is that it's probably the fault of the management to have handled it this way. I wouldn't say it's a
Yeah.
Bumrah's fault or Pandya's fault. It could be just the way in which expectations were set within players on who becomes the captain and who doesn't become the captain. Being the best player in the team, sometimes you have to live with the fact that you cannot become the captain. Captaincy is absolutely different ball. It's a different ball game
Definitely.
altogether. I mean, even if Hardik Pandya cannot bowl, it does not mean that he's not fit to be in the 11. He adds value to the team as a fielder, as a batter who can finish matches for Mumbai Indians or India for that matter.
And potentially
I
a
know
leader.
Bumrah is, making someone. The whole reason why Pat Cummins is captain and not Nathan Lyon is simply because of leadership qualities that they might have spotted
Yeah.
in a bowler. Because he's not just a bowler. Pat Cummins can stand up when required, provides inspiration to the team when required by playing the game, not just pep talk and other things, right? So I think you have a lot of examples of that nature, and which is why in the past I can give you examples from the 90s where captaincy factions were very fashionable. In the Pakistan team, you had Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis both fighting for captaincy and not listening to each other. the team would be half following Wasim Akram and the other half following Waqar Younis and things like that. So same with Indian team as well. I mean, you had followers who were in the dressing room all the time cheering for Mohammad Azharuddin at one point, and then some are belonging to a different faction. You had folks like this. I don't want to really take names. Even in the Indian team, for that matter, you had
Yeah.
fans of Saurav Ganguly and Dada, other things,
Yeah.
and then you had fans of Greg Chappell who really inspired certain young players. So you always
Yeah.
have these issues within the team. Yeah, Dave, you're trying to say something.
I think the worst case scenario in this entire thing, which can happen from this situation, is Bumrah giving a Rashid Khan like ultimatum to the franchise that make me captain or I'm leaving in the next mega auction whenever that happens. Refuse to be retained to a new contract, and if that happens, I think that would be heartbreaking for a lot of Mumbai fans, but it will be actually an overall boon to the league. Like whichever team Bumrah goes to would be instantly upgraded to
Just
champion level
one, yeah. You
bowling
spoke
attack.
of which team Bumrah goes to. I think someone shared on socials Bumrah just putting out a yellow banner, just like that, a plain yellow banner on his Instagram or somewhere. So people went wild with the guesses. Absolutely no reason for
Yeah,
guessing that
yeah,
who's the yellow one in IPL. So I think there is a lot of speculation that he might go to CSK. So let's see if he does. Then good for CSK. I think
Good for
it's a
CSK.
huge loss for Mumbai Indians if that
proceeds.
happens. And I think CSK has the purse to pursue Bumrah, but I'm not sure if they'll really go for it though. But yeah, and I think it's going to be an exciting auction coming up. Just because the franchises have actually released the players and retained some doesn't mean that they will not go for the same kind of players that they want.
Yeah,
You might see an RCB go for Hazelwood again at a lower price. Sometimes these players, if they come at a good price, it works out well for both the economics
and
of the management. Yeah.
we might see some crazy figures coming up as well, considering there's Head in the auction,
Yep.
there's Mitchell Stark in the auction, there's
Sachin
also
Ravindra.
Rachin Ravindra in the auction with a base five price of like 50 lakh, which is
Yeah, I
fine.
feel
But
I feel RCB
uh,
might go for Mitchell Stark since he's already played for them in the past
yeah, yeah,
when Mitchell Stark used to play IPL a few times. And
yeah.
Head, you
But
do
I'm
not know
expecting
because
all of these.
most of these.
No, I'm
Sorry.
expecting all of these three names mentioned to go at an excess of 10 crores, 12 crores, something like that.
Yeah, easily. I
Some
think
crazy
the
Inflation.
numbers.
recency of the World Cup and everything. I think most analysts in
Yeah,
these franchises might already have worked out the numbers. So, having said that, I think we've come to an exciting close and a lot to happen. I think in the world of wrestling this week, perhaps
yeah,
with CM Punk's return, we need to see how it plays out for the rest of the roster. We need to see how WWE is going to handle LA Knight and and everyone around him in terms of feuds. Okay, and then that's it we have for now. That's all we have for now. Thank you, BS and Dave. Please like, share, and subscribe. Watch the video as many times as you want and share it forward. See you next time around. Bye bye.
Bye.
see ya.